7 field goals in the second half. And we're going to bring Sherrod on this one too.
I think they got back to a lot of the aggressive switching we saw early in the series. You definitely saw Tucker being aggressive on Tatum there. He did a sensational job down the stretch, but I think it was all self-inflicted mostly. You know, it was just guys not getting the ball, guys not holding on to the ball. And to me, it was just the Celtics trying to shoot their way out of it too. You know, and they hit some down the stretch. They missed others. I thought Marcus Smart was jacking way too many threes. So again, blame goes around. But like I was just saying to Jimmy John, you wish some more individuals were taking accountability. And I know Derek White just went to the podium. I'm sure we'll hear from Brown and Tatum tonight, or at least one of them. But I sent you guys the presser Brown gave after Game 5, just not taking, or I don't know what you want to say, taking accountability for the turnovers.
Yeah.
And they were almost devastating in that game. And if you don't get it now, then they're not going to go to the finals.
Jalen, why did you turn the ball over so much? I didn't turn the ball over. We all turned the ball over. Plus, they fouled me.
That was shocking. And it was easy to gloss over because they won. But imagine if they lost that game and he said that.
Yeah. Sherrod
so you can easily go back to it now.
Sherrod, what happened?
Oh, well, first, can you guys hear me okay?
We got you.
Okay. Yeah. Where the hell do we start with this? Okay, let's just start from the very beginning. Miami came in here to win. They didn't care how they did it. They were going to do it. They played harder. They played smarter. They played longer. Whenever the Celtics showed any signs of a surge, Miami said, get back. We're not, our season is not ending tonight. And the Celtics never played with a sense of urgency. They seemed like they were kind of cool breezing it this entire game, as if somehow they were going to magically will their way to victory. And even as media played, they had this game. This was theirs for the stealing.
Right.
I'm convinced, and you're never going to convince me otherwise, that if Jaylen Brown makes those 2 free throws when it's tied up at 99, the Celtics win this game. Because from there, Miami scored the next 6 straight, and that was it. It was ball game. When you put yourself in a hole where you play like crap for 3 quarters, and you're still right there on a cusp of winning, and then you have a moment to, within the last couple of minutes, to get over that hump, essentially, and put the pressure on them to score. When they listen. We can sit up here and talk about all the Celtics gave this away, but give the Miami credit. They came here to win. They came here to fight. They came to fight for their season, and give them all the credit because they deserve it. The Celtics just did not compete the way you should compete when you have a golden opportunity like this.
Yeah. And
that's the disappointing part to me.
Butler surpassing LeBron, too. Just a ridiculous performance.
But he had a good performance.
The points total from game six.
So Butler's better than LeBron?
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Prisoner of the moment, folks.
No, so Sherrod, we're in agreement here. I think that was the thing. Is we tip of the hat to Miami, obviously tip of the hat to Butler and Josue. When you square up and you're ready to go, give me a thumbs up. We're going to bring Josue in as well. You don't look great right now. You're gonna, there we go. Let's aim that camera.
He looks woozy.
There it is.
There's too many lights out here.
You're swimming in it. You know, we absolutely gave credit. I think it was real.
Second win.
Jimmy Butler was great. Kyle Lowry, as Jimmy said, came back from the dead. Max Strus revenge game. There was definitely some elements here. You absolutely give Miami credit, but the Celtics still. I mean, how many times have we said it? 5-6 good minutes, probably all you need. You know, again, they just put their head down and played clean basketball down the stretch there, and they win. That's it. That's all you needed. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I just wanted to ask a question to you 3 guys that just joined us. Why the F didn't Rob Williams see the court for a single damn second in the fourth quarter? Somebody explain.
He was at the scorer's table, and then he may put him back in bubble wrap.
Somebody explain. Somebody make it make sense.
Al made a 3, and Rob went back to the bench and didn't come out off the timeout.
I can't explain it. I can't. I mean, I thought when they were really kind of making this thing competitive, Rob was a big part of that. His activity around the basket, particularly on the offensive end. I thought, and I can't explain it. I don't get it. I didn't understand it. But there's so much about this game that just didn't make any damn sense. I mean, like Tatum had one of his most efficient shooting games like ever. And yet you never felt that he put his imprint on this game. This was like one of the weirdest 30-point games he may have ever had as a Celtic. It didn't feel like a 30-point game. It felt more like a 15, 20, 25.
And it should have probably been a 50-point game with how much he was feeling it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josue.
No, I was going to say, well, in that fourth quarter, if he's a little more assertive, a little more aggressive, maybe he gets there. Maybe he gets somewhere near that level. But I just thought he had to find a way to either get to the basket or just get some shots up. I mean, look, their best players going off, having the best game of his postseason. And I just didn't see that aggression. I didn't see that, no, I'm gonna snatch this away from you guys. You know, the Celtics came back, they wiped out the big lead. The crowd's into it, you know, and yeah, I thought this team could have used a little Rob in the end, especially when he got those two lobs. I felt like I got him going a bit, kind of woke him up. But I still think it comes down to seeing Tatum be more assertive. Honestly,
who are we putting that on? Tatum and Brown had seven combined field goals in the second half. We putting it on the guys or Ime?
I'm putting it on Tatum. Listen, when you get to this point in the playoffs where you need one win to get to the NBA Finals, and you are head and shoulders above anyone and everyone else on your team, you have to put the team on your back and carry them over. You have to. I don't care if they're sending triple teams at you. You find a way to get it done. And Jason, again, 30-point game on paper, it looks great. But for those of us who saw this game, he did not play like top 5 Tatum, even though he had a top 5 Tatum statistical game. He did not get it done. And again, would I be shocked if they go down to Miami and beat the snot out of the Heat? Wouldn't shock me. Because if you look at the way their season is going, that would actually be par for the course. Just when you think you have this team figured out, they hit you with a curveball. But they can't come into that Game 7 with a piss-poor performance like we saw here tonight. They just did not have any fire. You have to come. No pun intended, but you got to come with the heat in a game like this. You have to.
You know what? Like, this is obviously a habit that they have in trouble breaking. And at this point in the year, what's the saying? Old habits die hard. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Whatever. You can go down the line. If this is them, then they should just bow out of Game 7, because if they perform like this against the Warriors, they'll go down by 50. And they won't have a chance to breathe if they don't decide not to show up in the first quarter or the first half of a game.
I got a Tatum quote.
What do you got?
What's up?
So Gary Washburn asked.
Go ahead. You got Tatum quote?
Yeah, real quick. This just came. It looked like it just a couple minutes ago. Gary Washburn asked Jason Tatum what his confidence level is heading into Game 7 against Miami. Tatum asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, Gary responded yes, and Tatum said 10. So that's the thing. I mean, and I'm sure the confidence is there because look at the way they bounce back from losses. But right, I mean, like, look at the way they.
I was waiting for him to say like 5 or something.
This isn't like, oh yes, that's great, Tatum. Like, I'm not surprised that his confidence level is that high. I don't think anybody is. But is he going to show up? I mean, my guess is yes. But like, why did the Celtics have to make it this complicated of themselves? Why fly down to Miami? Why not just enjoy the weekend? You know, kick it at home. Getting ready to go to the finals in a few days or whatever it is in 2 or 3 days. And no, instead they had to gear up for a Game 7 for against a hungry Miami Heat team. I mean, I don't know, man. I just felt like this team could have been a few stops away. You know, a couple things go their way in that fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown, if he makes those 2 free throws. Look, I'm not trying to put this all on Jaylen, but it was just a recipe for a disaster for the Celtics. All that in that last 5-minute stretch of that fourth quarter.
Sherrod?
Yeah, and some people are going to go to Ime and say, you know, why
listen,
don't you slow it down? Why don't you play?
Go ahead, Bobby.
I was going to say, a lot of people are going to look at Ime and say, why don't you slow it down? Why don't you run a play for Tatum? Why don't you get him a shot there? Because, again, I feel like the third quarter from him is fine. You know, 2 or 3 lighter on the shot total, but moving the ball around, finding White, playing a 2-man game with him that was effective. But in the fourth, one shot with 1 minute to go, first 11 having none, that's on him. There's nothing you can say about the Heat defense. There's nothing you can say about Ime. There's nothing you can say about anyone, really. Like, that's where you have to get the ball. and make something happen. And it doesn't have to be a shot attempt, but it's just involvement on the ball as a whole. And he really didn't force the issue until the final few minutes there. No, none of it was good. Did get the one scoring play late, but the other turnover running in the Tucker there was just a huge play. You talk about the missed free throws, John. Those were big. There were a few others down the stretch there, but I really thought that turnover that gave Tucker the steal, the run out where White fouled him, which was just a horrible foul. Just the sequence of breakdowns down the stretch there from this group. We've talked about the old Celtics popping back up, and we've seen it in Game 5 against the Bucks now. We've seen it a couple of times in this series. They've dodged a few misfortunate turns there off their turnovers, but they had a golden opportunity tonight. I still feel good, just like Joe Sway going down to Miami, because I think they're just a better team showing up between these two if everyone's out there. But you really made it a coin flip now.
Made it a coin flip. You missed
Indeed. Sherrod, checking in on you. Yep.
Yeah, listen. Here's my take on this, and I'm never. I don't give a damn where Tatum's confidence level is. I could care less where his confidence level is. I want you to show up. I want you to be top 5 team. I want you to validate why you're a first-team All-NBA player. I want you to go into that damn building and own the building. You've never owned anything before. Because to me, this is where your legacy begins. This is where the narrative as to who Jason Tatum is in the big grand picture of things matters. Right. Because these are the games that people are going to remember. When you think about Jason Tatum, you think about 2018 when him and Terry Rozier and all those guys choked in that Game 7 against Cleveland. You think about what happened tonight with a chance to go to the finals, and you had a very efficient game. Looks great on the resume. But for those of us who are watching this, the eye test, you failed, and you're better than this. Right. And that's the only thing at this point, I don't care about anything Jason Tatum says. He needs to go out there and be a badass mother.
Yes,
that's what he needs to be.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I care about. And if he didn't have that in him. Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't that kind of player, then I just say, well, you know what, this has been a good season, good try, good effort. Let's just wrap it. No, he's actually shown he can be that player on a big stage. Mm-hmm. That's what I need to see. Yeah. That's the only thing I care about going into this game against Miami.
Right, like Sherrod, the trophy's here. Eastern Conference Final trophy is here, and
Larry Bird. Poor Larry Bird is just sitting there by himself.
Larry Bird.
I see him.
I got out of bed for the first time in 2 years for this.
Larry's on his 37th Budweiser right now.
Yeah, he's drinking Buzz.
Larry would have hit you with a double nickel in a game like this, the way that this was going.
Larry finished a case of beer by the third quarter, and he's like, "Let's go, let's get this on." No,
he was like, "Do you believe this? This is Tatum."
Pabst Blue Ribbon, baby.
If Larry Bird was in the building, Celtics may have won today. Bird gives him a little, extra pep, But
Jimmy, if you need that shit to get you fired up in a Game 6 with a chance to go to the finals, you got
I blame this loss on Bird. I blame this loss on Bird. Sorry, Bird. What you doing, man? Why aren't you here?
Lots of other weird stuff in this one. I mean, you go to Tatum first, but I don't know what Smart was doing the whole game, really. You mentioned the Rob sitting out the fourth quarter. That was weird. Horford, a little rushed out there.
Uncharacteristically dumb game by Al. Bad decisions, bad fouls, bad passes, and then obviously didn't score. But remember when Grant Williams was good? Those days were fun.
Giannis stopper.
It's been a little while there. This Grant, if the Celtics lose in 7, Grant heading into the offseason looking for a big payday is costing himself these last few games, right? Peyton Pritchard in bubble wrap, they've lost confidence in him in this season. So, this series.
You know what, John? I'm not sure it's that as much as it is that Derek White is.
They don't want Jimmy Butler to hunt him on a mismatch. That's basically.
Could you do worse though? Could you do worse than what Butler did tonight?
Jimmy Butler is hunting Derek White, who's an outstanding defender and a fairly big guard, on switches, and he's eating him up a little bit when he's getting into the paint. And so they don't want Pritchard out there for that same reason. I get why he's not playing, but you're not getting enough contributions from enough people to bail you out of a half of a bad
I
game
agree.
or a quarter here or there. You got that big Derek White push.
And you got nothing else from your
nothing
bench.
else. Nothing else from the bench.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, that point guard position's in flux a little bit right now. I don't know what it is about Smart, but he's just letting him fly, not getting downhill, and that was an effective approach for him. He wasn't able to make
he's hurt.
playmaker.
You know what it
He's
is?
hurt.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's banged up.
Yeah,
He's
so what do you
he's moving
do?
out there.
So do less. That's
You
the
sit him
whole
for
point.
Game 7?
It takes less effort and athleticism to jack threes, so I understand it, but then that's probably why he's doing it. But really, when you're hurt, do less. Put most of your focus and energy on the things where you can really make impacts, and don't try to beat people off the dribble. Just defend, kind of play it straight, look to work the ball and distribute.
That's my problem.
He should be, if he's not great, he should be looking at the 4 to 6 shot attempts, or maybe to go backdoor on some people or get a mismatch in the post against a smaller guard if he's out there, and look for those types of opportunities. But he shouldn't be looking for his action, looking for his shot. He's just got to do a little less.
But John, when does that happen, right? When do we see that version of Marcus Smart? Because we saw it a lot last year. We see it when guys like Tatum and Brown aren't getting it done.
Definitely.
He's not going to shy away from that moment, and that's the Marcus you're going to get, whether he's limping out there or whether he's 100%. And sometimes those shots are going to fall, like we've seen before, where he's got the record of 9 3-pointers in the game. Other times he's ice cold. He made 1 in this one of 9, and that's the result that you live with when your top dogs aren't taking care of business, so to speak. Look, I thought Jalen had it teetered back and forth in my opinion, but when it came down to it, I just felt like in the second half, specifically in that fourth quarter, it had to be Tatum, and especially against a team like this, against Jimmy Butler when he's cooking like that. Like the Celtics came back so many times in this one, and they just could never just string together defensive stops. PJ Tucker was killing them. The offensive boards were killing them.